Hello and welcome to this wrap-up of the 92nd meeting of the Internet Engineering Task Force. I'm Dan York, and I'm here with IETF Chair Jari Arkko. So greetings, Jari. How was this week in Dallas?
It was pretty good, I think. We had about 1,200 people on site, a little bit more than we expected, and many more remote. And I'm always happy to be in Dallas. It's a good place to have a meeting at. And this time we did not have a flood. Last time in 2006, when the IETF was here, we had a flood around the hotel, so we could not enter or leave.
Wow, well, I'm glad that didn't happen. Now, you said you had 1,200 some odd people. Where were they from?
All over the place, 57 countries, which is a pretty good turnout for the IETF. We are an international organization. Everywhere where people are working on internet technology, they will be interested in coming.
Now, how many different working groups met this time?
About 100. We have 128 working groups altogether in the IETF.
Great. Now, there was a lot of code and some hackathons and things happening this time. What was that all about? I see that on your shirt right there. Nice star and everything else.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the IETF when we're working on things that end up in real, actual code out there in the real world, or we work on things that are new innovations and new prototypes that are being built at the time. And it's one example of this real code thing is HTTP2 standard that we released a month ago, and with tremendous interest in various kinds of implementations. All the major browsers have this or will have it soon. That's a very good example of things where standards actually end up out there in the world quite quickly. But this time we tried something different also, not just implement the standard from the specification, but also work on both in parallel. In particular, try to link open source and standards world together on topics ranging from multicast routing to video codecs this time. So we had about 50 people hacking away in different small teams, building things on top of existing projects or creating new projects. So that's another example. A third example is that we had what we call the code sprint, a day when we programmed some of the IETF's own tools for doing the IETF work.
Now, these events both happened before the IETF weeks, right? So people had to come in on the weekend. It's a pretty dedicated group of folks.
That's right. Yeah, they were very eager. To the extent that when lunch arrived, then no one came to eat it because everyone was so tied up with hacking away that no time for eating.
Oh, that's great. Now, will some of these tools be things that we'll see out announced, to help move these protocols along, or?
Yeah, I think many of these are either existing projects that are being enhanced, video codecs being corrected or improved, and some of them are new things that help us do our work better, like coordinate some things between IETF and open source world.
That's great. It's great. Well, what else were some of the hot topics that you thought were neat this week?
Well, many things were in different working groups, but the three things that I thought were interesting were our discussion with problems with international characters in identifiers. We also talked about video codecs, and we talked about data models to control network nodes.
Yeah, I was there in part of that video codec discussion that was going on. It was quite busy, quite engaged. A lot of work, I think, that will be going on from there. There were also some remote experience. I'm obviously not there with you in Dallas. No cowboy hat for me this time. I was remote, and it was an interesting experience. We did some microphone queue types of experiments to try to see if we could help remote people feel like they fit in a little bit better to the experience. And it was great because, for instance, in a couple working groups, I was able to raise my virtual hand and then actually speak into the room. Although the first time I did it, they had the audio levels off, so I was the voice of God echoing through the whole room that was there. I was getting people telling me, Dan, you're too loud. I can't do it. But it was, that got sorted out as the week went on. But, it was a good way to try to bring in more people from around the rest of the world. And, there's still work to do. It's not quite as easy as the experience of being there, but we're hoping to use IETF protocols to really try to make that work. So I guess with this meeting done, what's next? What happens? Where do we go from here?
Well, we'll go back to work, of course, and over the net this time. So we do most of our work over the internet. Our next physical meeting will be at the end of July in Prague. And one of the things that we'll be doing in Prague is run another hackathon event. So this time was the first, and we'll run the second in Prague. Likely even more people participating in that one as the one here. So looking forward to the great ideas that people have there. Kind of new things are being built. We'll see.
That's cool. Okay, so I'm making a mental note that maybe I need to think about coming in the weekend before, or a little bit earlier even.
Yes, you and many other people. I mean, please take that into account.
I will do so. Well, thank you for your time, and we'll direct anyone watching to go to www.ietf.org to read more about what happened here and to get planning for IETF 93 in Prague. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Dan.